Hey guys, it's me. It's your buddy Leslie. I'm back in the kitchen, honey, and I'm making one of my very, very, very favoriteest, most wonderful side dishes. I hadn't made any in a while, and cabbage is in season right now, and I've been buying these giant heads of cabbage, so let's make it. It is what I call cabbage noodles. So we're going to start out by just cutting around the core of this giant cabbage head. This is called flat Dutch cabbage. As you can see, it kind of has a more flat appearance than instead of a round. So we're going to cut everything but we're going to cut away the core, like away from the core. We're going to feed that to the chickens. They'll love it. And then we're going to cut this up into like long strips, so it's more like a noodle vibe. And I'll just tell you, I love to eat this just by itself, or like throw a protein with it, like some grilled chicken, or like even just a hamburger patty. So I'm greasing my pan with some cooking spray. And then with this very dull knife, which I have got to get me a knife sharpener, but I start cutting this in long strips, okay? And that was a little piece of core that was still attached on there, so I went ahead and got rid of that. So just cut it however you want to cut it. This is how I do mine. I cut it long ways in big long strips, so it's like a noodle. And I'm telling you guys, this thing, it's so good. It's the simplest thing in the world. Not a lot to it, it's just tasty. And while I was sitting here cutting this, I was thinking, man, I have got to do something about sharpening this knife. This is one of my rated knives, and it used to be like super sharp. It would have just glided through this cabbage, but today I was like really struggling. And this was a really, really big cabbage head. So I ended up here in just a few minutes. You'll see that I went ahead and made 2 pans instead of 1. Now, you always have to keep in mind, cabbage is going to cook down a lot. So it's going to like, the size, it's going to cut in half. The size will be half what it was before. And as you can see here, I'm just still cutting it in long strips. Struggling with the dull knife. But, anyway, ends up getting it all in there. And I could have probably fit it in this one pan, but it would have just really been stacked to the ceiling. And we have to add a few more things and then cover this with aluminum foil. And so I just decided to go with 2 pans. Now, as far as seasons go with this, I just use some minced garlic and some salt and some pepper. You'll see that here in a minute. I kept it real simple. That way, if I wanted to add something else to it later, I could. And it's just kind of a basic, very basic seasoning profile on this cabbage. So as you can see, the pan's getting super duper full. And I'm like, that's not going to work. And I've still got this one big chunk to cut right here. So, I didn't really want to do 2 pans, but it ended up being the best thing. Now, I was able to combine them back together after they got out of the oven. And like I said, because it's going to shrink by at least half. Maybe even more than that. It just depends, I guess. Alright, so now we're getting the rest of it in there. And then I think we switch about right here to 2 pans, because I realized this was going to be a problem. And magically, 2 pans appeared. Okay, so now, once you get your cabbage cut up and everything, then you're going to get you some butter. Okay, now I had this extra half a stick in the refrigerator that I just wanted to use and get it out of the way. So I went ahead and cut it up into little pats. They call them little pats of butter. I don't know why they're pats of butter. I don't know who started a pat. I have no idea, but here we are. And then I think I end up adding a whole stick extra to between both pans. So, yeah. It's buttery. So we're going to cut that one up into pats as well. Wonder how that came to be. Wonder why it ever was pats of, like, I know you've all heard of it. Let me get a pat of butter. I've even seen recipes that call for like a pat of butter. What constitutes a pat? Anyway, I don't know. But here we are, adding our pats of butter to our pans. And you just want to scatter them all over the top. There's no real rules or anything like that. Just make sure it's, well covered up with some butter. And as the oven cooks this, the butter's just going to melt down in there. And I'm telling you right now, the result is phenomenal. But we're just putting the butter in there. And then we're going to get a block of cream cheese. Okay? And this to me is the best part. Like, I love the cream cheese. I do. I could just eat it like that. Just raw, just cream cheese. I love it. I cut this block into thirds. Sort of. That last piece was a little chunky. But I went ahead and cut it into thirds. And then I cut those down into smaller pieces so we could spread those all over the top of both trays. And I just kind of eyeballed it. It's, it's not any, like, serious measurements. Like, you have to have this much in this tray. It just, just made it work. And just like the butter, we sprayed it all over the top. Just like laying it around where it looked like it needed to be. And then we did the same thing to the other tray. And you see there's a piece stuck on the side of the tray. I didn't see it until after it was already in the oven. And the piece had fell off. And I had a snack. And it was delicious. I didn't see it. See, I have no clue right there. It's stuck to the side. So now we're going to take aluminum foil. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. We're seasoning now. So it's our minced garlic. And I just took my knife and dipped a big slob of it out and kind of spread it all over the top of it. Same thing on the other side. And then we did the salt and the pepper, some sea salt from Rural King, which I'll just tell y'all, I am madly in love with Rural King seasonings. I really am. A little salt. Gotta have a little salt on your cabbage. It's delicious. A little salt. You could have also drizzled some bacon grease on here if you wanted to. I did not do that. And then we're going to do some black pepper. And then I guess we're going to cover it with foil. This is going in a 350 degree oven until, I think I left it in there about an hour. And then I just stirred it up, and that cream cheese is going to melt right into that cabbage. It's delicious. This is after I added them both together, and I just kept stirring and smashing the cream cheese. It's delicious, y'all. I had to get me a little bowl and give it a try. And right here's that right there. Oh my gosh, look at that little burnt piece. That's the best. And honey, there it was. Cabbage noodles. You gotta make it. You just gotta make it. It's good. Y'all need to try it. I love yous. Bye.